Welcome along to the first official episode of the Spearo Diaries podcast with Elise and Laura.
Two mermaids chatting about spearfishing and ocean adventures.
We froth a dive road trip, a comment all the yarns that go in before and after a dive.
This episode includes the unfiltered raw chats we had before and after competing together in the Port Valley Spearfishing Club's Far North Champs held in May this year.
It was at this comp that we decided to do a practice recording, and then we launched. This is us, Spearo Diaries.
Each week we will be bringing you either a Spearo Diaries entry consisting of a trip report, comp coverage, or a Spearo topic, alternating with interviews featuring epic guests with tales of adventures on or in the ocean.
Enjoy filling your ear holes.
And feel free to give us some feedback via our Instagram at Spearo Diaries. All right, we are in the car on our way to first comp we've done in a while, actually. Done a few competitions, me and Elise together, but this is the first one we've had probably this year. We actually went to the Nationals at the start of the year but competed separately. But that is a story for another podcast. But we are fizzing out because it's a Friday night on our way up north from Auckland, and we're heading to the Port Valley Spearfishing Club's, what are they calling it?
Far North Champs.
The Far North Champs.
Woo.
Bunch of awesome Spearos that we know will be there. They all kind of know the area, but we went along last year and did it together, eh?
Yeah, it was awesome last year. So in all of our glory, we've decided to leave at 9:30 at night, so we're expected to arrive at about 1 a.m, probably 2 a.m, because we're going to need a stop for the usuals, petrol, and
always in full belief that a trip up north is never too far for good viz, good fish, and good company. So
how can you say no? But luckily for us, we'll have 4 hours sleep because we're going to wake up at 6 to get out there to get ready to meet at 7. So
yeah, reports are that it's looking pretty good viz, and there'll be a few pretty experienced Spearos that we'll be competing against. I'm not sure if there'll be any other females. It often isn't. It's mainly dudes, which is cool. Jumped on a spot and staying with some club mates from the Blue Flins Club that we are part of. And yeah, basically really looking forward to, hopefully, it's the first time me and Elise have dived together in a while. First time we've competed in a while. And I'm coming back from an ear injury. Elise has had probably one of the biggest breaks you've had off diving for a little while, eh?
Well, I just haven't been able to get out the last 6 weeks. 3 weeks ago I tried to get out, but the weather just wasn't playing ball, so I just gave up and went canyoning instead, which was super fun. But yeah,
quite unusual for us, in the little, year and a half to 2 years that I've been a newbie diving with Elise, and she's been letting me stalk her around. We've pretty much tried to go out every fortnight, regardless of weather conditions. We go to every comp that we can find around the North Island, and
it's pretty hard to talk us out of diving. Regardless of what's going on, we're usually just getting out no matter what. We love it. But yeah, we're excited. I'm excited to go. I have heard, I've kind of stalked the Facebook page a little bit and have seen that potentially it's Stevie's Island or Stephen's Island.
Neither of us have dived there. I haven't been there before.
The fish list is described as standard except for pori, so it could be anything. So I can't even remember what it was last year.
And actually, just on a note about that, we talk like everyone knows that we're where we are in New Zealand and the world and fish and stuff, but we're going basically to the kind of towards the Kavili,
the bay, north of the Bay of Islands.
Yeah, north of the Bay of Islands in New Zealand, the North Island, and it's just really well known for heaps of really cool sightings. We've got some really good stories from that area of different stuff we've seen. It's pretty fishy up there. It's usually way better viz from near Auckland where we live.
It's basically just better in every way.
Better. So yeah, I guess we sort of just wanted a bit of a pre-comp chat so that we can do a bit of a debrief afterwards and let people know how we're going. Not everyone's into competitive spearfishing, which we know, but we really froth it, and I've learned a lot being quite new to my journey in spearfishing and getting into comps via Elise and diving with different people, a lot of them being Elise and sometimes by myself, and just have really found it quite beneficial to seeing how your fitness goes, giving
What is
yourself
it?
the challenge.
What is it that you specifically reckon, like, why is it that you like doing competitions?
Oh, she's throwing me under the questions. This sounds really bad. Every time I've gone to a comp has gone somewhere where I can't access by myself as well. So it might be a place I've never been. Like, I don't have a boat, you don't have a boat either.
No.
Getting a chance to go to like a new part of New Zealand and spearfish in a spot we've never been to. And then you have this kind of time pressure of like a few hours and to see if you can like target different fish. So I feel like it's a little bit more interesting because you're looking for all of these different species and then trying to, I don't know, you just get to see how well you did compared to some other people in the same area. And they just have such different stories, like meeting up with people afterwards to talk about how their day went. And they might have only been like a kilometre or 500 metres from you most of the day. And they just have like a completely different experience of like what fish they saw, how their day went. And I just find that like a really interesting kind of experience to go out, see what's out there, tell the stories afterwards, and go to a brand new place. And I haven't dived Stevenson's or Stevie's, but I've heard a lot about it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Elise? Why do you like competing?
I think I started just like when I first did my first competition. It was the Nationals up in the Bay of Islands, actually. No, it wasn't. No, that was actually just. Where was I? Oh, it was Hen and Chicks. I was at the Hen and Chicks, and it was like, I was like pretty nervous, but I just really wanted to challenge myself because I had heard like lots of good things, and I was like, okay, I love spearfishing. How am I gonna, like I didn't know anyone with a boat, so how am I gonna get out to a new place on a boat and be like improve and learn and just grow myself in spearfishing. And I just kind of wanted to challenge myself, so while I was like still pretty fresh, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to enter this year every comp that I can and just like learn from it. I am quite competitive accidentally, so there are times when like I'll jump in and then like something just comes over me and I just feel like I'm in my element, like this like the pressure of the time and like the
She's only yelled at me a few times, so.
Only like with love, like swim faster, hurry up.
Nah, to be fair,
it's mostly for the relaxation of it. So but like now
it's the passion.
But now what I love about it is being like the different styles of hunting techniques that you can grow and learn from. Like you've got like, say you've got your kingy, so we're like, okay, we want to get a kingy, this is what we're going to do to get a kingy. And then you've got like your butterfish, okay, to hunt that we need to go lie down in the weeds and like wait for them to come up around you. Your trevs lying on the bottom, mega breath holds, like diving weed lines, like just different diving techniques that get you different species, which I find super cool and super interesting. Also, the community is really cool. So yeah, I love it. Like I just think it's such a cool way to meet people, such a cool community.
I get paranoid, like I feel like I need to hide that I'm competitive and I want to go like kill fish for sport, because like I don't want it to sound like that, and it's not the only reason I do it, but I know like
fun,
there's a chunk of it is that I do like the challenge and competitiveness of being like, what did you get?
Yeah.
And I went out all day and I tried to kill some fish, but it also is like done in a way that I'm only okay with competing because I know that they actually, when they do comps in New Zealand anyway, I don't know about anywhere else, but they consider like the areas that have been used in the past few years for comps, how many fish are being taken, like how many people are competing to do that, like safety measures. It's not like we're just going out and like pillaging certain areas of like all the species. Like it's actually considered that we're not just taking heaps of fish.
Well,
and so I can feel
targeted.
I wouldn't feel okay if that's how it was, but so I do get paranoid about telling people that I'm competitive spearfishing and stuff, that people are gonna like judge me for that. But
how does spearfishing competitions work? And you're like, their thing is, you think of it as you win, you get the biggest fish, you win. And it's
heaps of people say that actually.
Yeah,
even spearfishing people think that. And I'm like, I don't think you know much about comps.
So with the competition in like particularly in New Zealand, basically, I don't know what it's like overseas yet. You get 100 points per fish on the species list, and then you get 10 points per kg up to 8 kg. So the maximum amount you can get is 180 points per fish. So then, like, say you get like 7 fish on the fish species list. So they'll give you a list of like maybe up to like 20 fish or something.
Oh, and it's also worth mentioning that on that list, I didn't know this when I started, that a fish that you could legally maybe take on just a normal diving spearfishing trip, the heaviness of a fish that you could get in a comp actually is quite a lot higher than some of the smaller fish you'd just shoot if you were like starting out. Like I thought, oh sweet, I can shoot blue mau mau, like I'll get one fish, but then it turns out in comps your blue mau mau actually have to be pretty meaty looking, and like actually it's quite hard to get like goatfish and blue mau mau and stuff of size
so the
to
minimum
actually
weight is 450 grams. So like for example, like a trevally, which is legal at 25 centimeters, will not weigh, like, or a tarakihi, you know, they have to kind of be about 32 centimeters before they'll start weighing in for the competition. So
and
it
actually
makes
a butterfish can be the decider between someone beating someone else because they've got like a bigger, heavier butterfish, which so there's a lot of like, I don't know, there's a lot of details into it, but that's kind of a general thing. It's good that it's not just about going and getting like 10 of a certain species and then there's like a whole lot of us doing that in the same area every year 6 times a year. It's just no one, it's not like that, and I'm glad that it's not like that because it can be competitive, it can be fun, but it's also just a really good day out.
And this time it's almost like we're going to the supermarket because we get to keep all our fish. So we are needing some for the freezer, and we're needing some for some events coming up, so hopefully we do okay. A
few comps say they donate the things to like communities in the area, or like they might do the fire stations often auction it off and the money goes to the fire station. But for this
so
one
it all goes into the community and raises money for the community, which is really cool.
But I am selfishly stoked that this time we get to take our fish home because we pretty much eaten all our last few catches out of the freezer and the fridge, and I need some food for winter.
Yes, same. And there's been like, I've had to actually buy meat recently at the supermarket because I've run out of fish, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to get out. So I'm excited to fill the freezer. I'm excited to dive with you, Laura.
Yes, you are one of my fave dive buddies, and even though Elise has been able to dive with the calibre of the New Zealand women's team recently, and probably diving.
I felt very lucky about that also.
Very cool, and probably another big juicy podcast coming actually, that one. But like I know that Elise is basically the pro in this pair, and I am the noob.
A team. We are a team together, and however we go tomorrow, it is a team effort, and I'm excited for it.
Same, I'm pumped. Now, people often make comments that a good pair is often you have someone who you either have a good like scenario, we have talked it out beforehand, got a bit of a plan, but usually that you're having turns making decisions, or one person who's maybe the more experienced person and the other person's more able to follow. So
we've got a plan for tomorrow. I'm excited for it. So we'll see how it goes. But
I guess we just want to do a bit of a pre-comp because it's kind of exciting to talk about it beforehand. And we'll often be doing comps or entering comps separately or together, and doing the women's and pairs for New Zealand nationals and things. So we thought we might start talking about some of the comps we do, and it's not going to be for everybody, but we get pretty excited about it. And tomorrow I just have this feeling actually, maybe it's just because I don't know where it is, but I'd be pretty keen if we both shot a kingy tomorrow, but I just have a feeling it's quite unusual. I know you got a kingy at Nationals just gone, but for me, with the comps I've been to, it doesn't seem to be that many people shoot kingies.
Well, it's just about like, for the pelagics, you've got to get to the areas first, because fish aren't stupid. Like they're pretty clever. So if you,
I've shot some.
That's
so
why
definitely some dumb fish around.
we have to swim, like if you want to get to the spot where there's holding the pressure for the kingfish, or for the kind of like more solo fish, if they're not in like a big school, then you need to get there first. So that's probably why, although you can get lucky, there can be the odd one just swimming past, but generally you try to get there first, and then they kind of like, hey man, my friend just got shot, like this doesn't feel safe, and kind of will leave the area pretty quickly, especially if you've got lots of people swimming to that same area. So
I mean, that's kind of what I'm concerned about with tomorrow, because like I have felt like I know you're still fit, but I feel like I've been fitter in the past, that one of the things that I can excel at in a comp, even though I don't
Laura,
have...
You'll be swimming hard tomorrow, girl!
But that's what I'm worried about. I'm like, I was fitter a few months ago, and I feel like
fine.
usually I can guarantee that my swimming fitness will be up
Just
there,
hold
even
on
if
to
my
that
spearing
float,
isn't.
I'll tow you along if you're not swimming hard enough. Nah.
Nah,
Jokes.
fair. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm expecting to be extremely tired and dehydrated come the end of 5 or 6 hours spearing with you tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to being tired.
Me too. And any girls out there that want to nervous or like think that a competition is
All guys.
all guys,
You might be nervous too.
people. But particularly, I think it would be really cool to get like more girls into the sport.
I've actually never ever faced like any issue with like being a girl at a comp or being a girl on a boat or like being a girl spearfishing and being treated like I'd be any less capable. Like I'm real stoked with that, but I've never found that at all.
That's
if anything, people are more supportive.
Pump it up. It's cool. Like anyone can come, and it'd be really cool if you're a beginner. Try it out. You're going to learn so much and so quickly.
Yeah, I reckon I'd have probably learned in a year and a bit what I would have learned maybe in 5 or 6 years just diving like casually because I've got to go to comps. And I'm lucky enough to dive with people like you. I do learn a lot off watching people who I'm diving with on the day, and I'm excited to see. I haven't dived with you since you did your big chunk of time diving with the New Zealand team and learning heaps from them, so I'm excited to see what little tips and tricks you have picked up along the way, Elise.
Yeah, I'm excited to be in the water again at all. It's been a dry spell.
Oh, hopefully we're not waffling here, but I think it'd be really awesome to land a kingy tomorrow and get a few of the usual species. I'm a bit upset port eye is not on the list as one of my favourite fish, but
yes, there's a small area in Laura's heart, large area in Laura's heart for port eye, because they make a hella good curry. So she's also just a great cook, so that's why port eye go well for her. So yes.
But yeah, we'll go out there, get as many species off the list as we can. Hopefully the viz is good. Hopefully I don't get seasick. Usually have a little bit of a spew. That's usually pretty good. At least just sort of drags me along anyway. Make sure that I'm not slipping under, and gives me a Powerade and a pat on the back, and away we go.
So we will update you tomorrow post comp. Woo!
Nice. Hopefully you'll be talking to the winners of the Port Valley Spearfishing Comp. That might be a bit push. Might be a bit of a push.
Yeah, the winners in our own minds, but we've actually got to put some skill into it.
Hey, maybe we'll be the first woman.
See you tomorrow.
First woman's would be good.
First woman's.
Maybe the first woman's pair. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you up after the comp. Toodles. It is the day after our comp that we went to up in Port Valley, so a little bit of a debrief the day after from us. Elise, you want to take it away and let them know our amazing title?
We did so awesome yesterday. Like, I'm so pumped with how the day went. The diving was incredible. We had like 12 meters visibility. There was heaps of fish.
Whoa! You're going into all this detail, but we won. We won. We were the winners.
We did. We came third place overall.
But we won the women's category.
We won the women's category.
To be fair, we were the only woman in it on the day. But you know what? I'm going to tell my dad that. That's what my dad will be hearing.
And technically, there probably isn't actually a women's category, but we can tell them that there is, because in that case, we as the only 2 female competitors
in the Port Valley Spearfishing Far North Championships of 2024
and second and third overall champions. Far North champs.
It just sounds better, but no, in all seriousness, we came third, which we're pretty stoked with
overall, which is pretty cool. And not only that, but we also won largest kingfish or heaviest kingfish. Stoked on that, but also due to the fact that the very first team, the winners, unfortunately had a run-in with a shark and it ate half of their kingfish, and just the head weighed in at 8 kg, and the whole of the fish we brought was about 11 kg. So yeah,
the fact they beat us is actually pretty humbling, so that's fine. And Elise says we got a kingfish.
We are a team.
To be fair, we are a team, and I did assist, and I've probably never loaded my gun that fast, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a bruised chest area tomorrow, but was very cool. But no, Elise did some absolute slaying yesterday on our behalf, and it was a treasure and a treat to dive with you yesterday.
Same. I loved it. I thought we had really cool teamwork. Like we were just swapping guns. We've actually both got the same gun, which is perfect for diving together and competing together because we both have got the same aim on the same gun. So you don't have to like tune yourself into each other's guns.
Yeah, I don't think about that till just now, that actually in the comps we have done, we've always just stuck to our own guns. And I don't think I could even load your gun for you when we started out. I think you even might have loaded my gun for me a number of times in the past.
Well, the only difference between our guns is that I've got the rubbers slightly shorter on mine so that I can have a little bit more power. I did notice that for a moment. I was like, wow, yours is so easy to load. And then I was like, oh, that's because I was really smart one day and thought that I wanted more power and bought it and then forgot about it.
It was really handy in this scenario where, I don't know, probably the most memorable. It was a really cool day all day. We saw some good stuff, we got some good fish, and it was amazing, like you were saying, viz and stuff. But I think the most memorable part for me was at the start.
Yes.
Which, following me getting in late, Elise was at the start.
The horn went and she was still on the boat. And I was swimming off and I'm like, get in the water, Laura!
Look, actually, if you think about it, I saved myself about 10 metres of swimming by getting in off the boat, not having to go the triangle and out again.
Jump
was not
start.
intentional. I normally like to be in the start triangle, but I actually bought new bloody wetty socks. I'd got new winter booties for my fins, and they're so thick that I couldn't get my foot in properly, and I gave myself foot cramp on the boat, which sounds pathetic, but it was really bad, and so I couldn't actually get the thickness of my sock in my fin to get off the boat and get in. So sorry about that. It was a bit of a stressful start for you.
I'm pretty sure when you first bought your fins it was like coming into summer, so you would have just been sized for like 3 mil socks, but were your toes so warm?
So good. And note to self, don't try any new gear on a comp you care about, because if you haven't used it before, something will happen.
Luckily for us this was a fun comp, but okay.
Everyone says it was a fun comp, but the whole day was just everyone being probably quite competitive, and everyone cared. Everyone cared, even though we say it was chill and fun. And me and Elise basically
if we didn't come top 3, we would have been furious.
I think I actually swam over the top of someone's line just to catch up to where you were.
I did
because I was late, and I just thought, you know what, get out of my way, boys.
There's even a moment where I might have set someone out by accident because he swam over my line, and then he tried to untangle, and then I was like, that's what you get when you swim over someone, man.
I think I did witness of you guys untangling your float boats at that point. Well, it was at that point though, you and I chose to go a slightly different direction to most of the boys. I think
realised
everyone went left.
A relaxing competition.
Everyone went left, I think, from the start triangle, except one of the boys that we were on the boat with, Minty and Jessie, went a completely different direction. I think their plan was go the opposite way of everyone else and maybe we'll get more fish, because otherwise you have to sprint to the edge where the pelagics were. But of course, because I was with Elise, our plan was sprint and swim hard
than everyone else.
as fast as we could to get to the point where we thought the tides were going to be pushing us some pelagics. Is that pretty much right? Is this my understanding?
So on our way out, everyone kind of stuck a bit closer to the shore. Maybe they were like snooping for snapper, but we were a little bit wider, which meant that we got in this massive school of koharu. There were like...
Would have been like 10 minutes in, eh? We've been swimming for 5 or 10 minutes maybe. Like not even far.
There were thousands, and it was incredible.
Not even over dramatic. Like I've never seen more than 100 or 200 koharu before this day. Like there genuinely were thousands. And not just little ones, like fat boy koharu. Like it was
big,
insane.
Thick, girthy, beautiful fish. And diving down just took a moment, and just they were vortexing, and so they were just spiraling all around me, and it was just incredible. And I was like, yeah, all right, well,
you shot your first. You landed our first fish pretty quick.
Yeah,
eh? Like got a fish on board, got a koharu.
I actually took 2 shots and missed 2, and was like, oh, you need to relax and calm down.
I mean, I missed 2 as well. So.
I had to take that moment where you just, when you've had the start of the comp, everything's all go, adrenaline's there, and I was like, okay, I've missed 2 fish, what do I need to do? And then I just was like, hey, slow down,
calm down, Elise.
Relax, do a really good breathe out, just take your time, the fish aren't going away. They really weren't. They were
everywhere. Like it was quite mesmerising. I had to like try and calm down and aim at them because there were just so many and they were so big. And of course we automatically were like, if there's koharu here and we can get some koharu, there may be some kingies.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen any at that point.
So calmed down, took a really good breath hold, dove down and shot koharu, which I was just stoked about, so we could just get it on the board. So put that in the float boat or in the plat, and then yeah, and then I was like, all right, Laura, we gotta go get some more koi so we can bring in the kingies. So dove down again, we shot another one, and then Laura dangled it on the end of her.
It's quite good actually. We didn't even really need to talk about it. We'd never really done this in a comp before, but we've done it on a few dives where you do the classic like one person dangles a kuhuru that's still wiggling a little bit in hopes that it will lure some kingies in, and then the other person will be ready to drop down or look down, see if they will see the kingies that might come into the kuhuru. But we kind of just did it without actually talking about it. It was quite cool.
Yeah, that was the teamwork that I loved. So she was dangling it on the end of her spear, and then some kingies came in. And while she was doing that, I was breathing up so that I was ready to go down. So dropped down, took a shot. It was a little bit high, and I was holding. So often when you shoot a kingy, because we were only in about 8 meters of water at that stage, they try dive down and kind of like rub the spear out, and it was a little bit high, and I was concerned that I was gonna lose it. So I was like, crap, I'm gonna need a second shot on this. And
it looked
Laura's
like a
gun
pretty
still
good
had the kuhuru dangling on it. So it came back up, and I was like, okay, Laura.
It looked like I had a pretty good shot on it,
please?
to be honest. It looked like I had a pretty good shot on it from my view, but as soon as she shot it, I automatically went into, oh, shit, my gun's got a fish on it and it's not loaded. So even without at least talking to me, I was already like, oh man, I've got to load this gun pretty fast in case she wants a second shot, but also because I thought there might be more kingies and I wanted to get my own kingy, which we didn't need because you don't need more than one kingy for the comp. So I kind of had to go from like,
but a girl's got to eat, you know.
I had to go from like, this isn't about you getting a kingy to take home and eat, Laura. This is about making sure that we both land one kingy for the comp. So by the time all that went through my brain, Elise was then popping up and quite calmly and clearly telling me that she needed, this is correct, that she needed me to load the second gun quickly.
Laura, would you mind loading a gun, please?
Which luckily I was already in the preps of doing.
That's because I'd done my calm breathing up, whereas like 3 minutes earlier I would have been like, load your gun!
I mean, even to be fair, even if you had a really good shot and you told me not to, you kind of do that in a comp. The idea being that you don't want to lose a fish. It's not about ego.
No.
Like, I've got a good shot on the kingy. Like, you're trying to like support each other enough that you don't lose it, because you don't want to lose it to sharks or wound it and let it go, but you also just want to make sure you get the points for that fish.
There's just no room for ego. Like, if you do that, regardless, you're like, even if you're not in a comp, if it's not a great shot, you know that like, you know, you've injured something and it might swim off injured if it gets off the spear, you know. So and
I'm a bit of a wuss with sharks, so I'm automatically like, yes, we've got a kingy, this is exciting, and then I automatically go into, oh, now some sharks might come. So it was also that I didn't want an unloaded gun to not be able to poke off some sharkies if they came.
So then pulled the kingfish up, and I did think about that, but immediately gutted it, which normally I'd like leave till like a little bit later, but I just
missed
was
out
kind
your
of
second
like,
shot.
I was just, took another second shot. It was brilliant.
We did a bit of gun swapping, which is good. I held on to the kingy for a little while and it tugged me a little bit, and I realised that it was actually probably a bit bigger than I thought it was, which was then Elise went down. And honestly, this is my little rant about you.
We were trying to hold it off the bottom so it wouldn't rub the spear out, but not pull it up too much where it would tear out as well. So it's a bit of a delicate. Like,
for those people who haven't done it, like doing a second shot's actually pretty hard. So I ended up holding on to the kingy while Elise took the second shot on the fish, which I'm pretty sure I would not have accurately been able to do. I've got a pretty bung ear at the moment, so I don't want to risk trying to take a second shot and missing. And just watching Elise from above, like it was a tricky second shot and she nailed it. So once we had like both spears in the kingy, back to Elise's hands, and she's like reeled it in and processed it like a queen, like she normally does. But just that lurky feeling of there being sharks around. There was still heaps of kuhuru. Not sure why they were still sticking around.
They did not leave. I think they were also just like, oh look, there's things to eat in the water.
Did you say you saw two other kingies at this point, like coming in to look on their friend?
Oh yeah, no. Once while I was diving down to do the second shot, there were like 2 or 3 others that were kind of bigger. And I was like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the start of the day. If you nail a massive kingy at the start of the day, you then have to tow it around all day in your plant. Whereas if you can get one that's about 8 kg, that's kind of like perfect to tow around, because you know you got the maximum amount of points, but then you
aren't taking up heaps of space in your float boat and towing something around all day.
Yeah,
which sounds a bit wang of us, but it's actually true. Like in comps, the hugest kingy isn't actually always that beneficial.
If you get the biggest kingy at this comp, there is a prize. You get $100.
This is true. This is true.
Which we won.
Which is the points to that is that sadly because the boys who won the whole comp in the end,
who completely deserved it,
who really deserved it, who had a head that weighed 8 kg because they lost the rest of their actual kingy. Technically,
ours weighed more.
Ours weighed more. So Elisa's kingy still got heaviest kingy of the comp, which is very cool. And it was mean. It was a mean way to start the day because it was so exciting, and to see that many kohuru land 2 good fish quite quickly, like. The comp started at like 8:30. I think by 9 o'clock we had a kohuru and a good kingy, and it just set the rest of the day in like a mean vibe.
Yeah, it took the pressure off as well because we were on our way racing out to the point to be able to go get those pelagics. So when that happened, it was like, sweet, we can like relax a little bit. We've got the one that kind of like spooks off a bit more than anything else. So then we were able to like make our way out to the point, and like pick off the blue mau maus,
of which were pretty big models, like I was saying earlier. Like it's actually quite hard. Sometimes you'll struggle through a whole comp just trying to find blue mau mau of size. Like there'll be blue mau mau, but like ones that are of size are actually sometimes quite tricky. But there's just quite a few out. It was quite you.
They were big ones, eh?
I think we both got a blue mau mau of size quite quickly at that point, and that was good too because it was like, okay, cool. It's like when you're not really sure if we've got one of size, and we had 2, and we had 2 other fish, and it was kind of like, sweet, this is going really well.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we were kind of like, okay, what's next on the list? And kind of like methodically worked our way through what we were wanting to get, and kind of like changed our diving to, you know, reflect that. Like, so we had done the pelagics, and then we're like, although we hadn't seen any kahawai or trevallies, which we were expecting to see out there, but that's okay. We were hoping that would get us solo. I was lying down in the weeds looking for butterfish, and a kahawai came through, and I took a shot, but I missed it and just skimmed along the side. So it was a little bit disappointing.
There was a few sightings, like really speedy, small amounts of what I was 99% sure were kahawai at points. It was just like, just weren't quick enough, and then they were gone, and it was kind of like, hopefully we'll see some more later on. But as it turned out, we didn't manage to land any kahawai or trevs for the day, which...
It's cool though, because it makes you think, like, so that shot that I missed, like, the reason was because I didn't have, like, I took it with one hand, and for that shot, and I wasn't like, it was a bit of a fast shot, whereas sometimes when I've got a bit more time, I can like hold the gun in a better way, lock my arm straight, and really like lean into it,
sure
rather than the little bit of backfire that you get, and it just changes the anyway. So
neither of us on fire with the kahawai or the trev.
Everything makes you think in competitions, and you can analyze what went right and what went wrong, what you were lucky with. And that's why I love it, because you can just learn from everything.
And I learn from you, like heaps. Like when Elise talks before comps or even during, like about why we're going to certain parts, why we're going to the bit where the current's pushing, why we're going around this little rocky island, why we're going to the pelagic area first. Like that's all really new learning for me, because I used to just kind of cruise along and just see whatever fish came along and shoot at some. Whereas when you're actually planning on hitting,
let's get that one.
It's got a tail,
which works sometimes.
And like going for stuff like blue mau mau early on when you should be going for the pelagics, which is the trev and the kahawai and the kingies and stuff. Like I learned so much about that.
But
yesterday.
If you see it, shoot it. You know. Don't swim past it, because you're not guaranteed to see that later in the day.
It don't always turn up later on, which is true. Which is why it was actually quite like, it's hard when you're competing to not just want to go for we definitely could have spent time trying to land me a kingy, because we saw a couple under that kohuru area.
We did stick around for a little bit more.
We gave it a bit of a jaunt.
Just because we were a little bit like, haven't been diving a little while, wanted to kind of fill the freezer up, and you know.
But my ears weren't great, and I'm just trying to look after my previous eardrum injury and not wreck myself. And we already had a kingy, so it was more about focusing on the list. And Elise had a little bit of a I don't know if vendetta is not the right word. She had some energy to heal over her relationship with the granddaddy hapuka, Elise.
There was this one time that me and Laura were diving where I decided not to shoot a granddaddy hapuka and just stab it, which is also a scorpion fish. And while I was stabbing it, I realized I didn't do it very well. So then the barb didn't go in. So then I had this very bright idea where I'd get my knife out and just like kind of dispose of it with just my knife.
It was in a pretty tricky area, to be fair. It was in a really niggly, awkward, angled crack, right?
Yeah,
and you don't want to wreck your gun.
This is a different time. This is not yesterday. So when I did that, as I was stabbing, I then got 3 of the spines into my hand. And this is while we were staying at a remote island at the Cavallis.
With a tiny little medical box on the boat that was quite far from where we were.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, came up, I was like, I wonder what's going to happen next. And luckily for me, I had antihistamine.
Luckily that was even on the little boat we were on. There was this like shabby ass first aid kit. I'm trying not to go into a whole other story about another day, but tiny shabby little first aid kit. And luckily Elise was like, I think if you take antihistamines it helps. We're like, all right, well look, there's some in the box.
Yeah, and so the outcome for me was that it hurt. It felt like my bones were on fire, but I'm like fairly good with pain, so I was kind of just like, boys are like, how you doing? And I'm like, yeah, it just feels like my bones are on fire. And they're like, oh.
I mean, we still did the whole, to cut that short story.
We put the hand in the hot water, which to me was boiling, but everyone else was saying that it was just slightly lukewarm. and then Laura called the poison centre and said, what should she do? And they said, get her to land.
To be fair, she didn't look great. She does have a very high threshold for pain, and she dealt with these fish before. Actually, earlier in that trip, she had processed one for me, so I didn't stab myself on the spikes, and then she did it to herself on her own fish. So that sucked, but like it was actually quite scary watching someone like not feeling well with something like that, and like knowing that it's
breathing got a little hard, but everything was fine.
It was a bit of paced breathing, and knowing we were so far from an A&E, doctors and stuff was a little bit worrying. But it turned out all right in the end.
So then yesterday, scorpion fish are on the list, and got 2. Not that it was that particular fish's fault, or because it was 100% my fault, but I was kind of just like, okay, I need to get a scorpion fish again.
Safely.
So that I know that I can kill them. But yeah, it was a little bit like, I was a little bit scared of them sometimes, but that's okay.
And that's some weird ass looking fish, but
that's a big brave girl.
Pretty tasty though.
They're so delicious. They're like what we call poor man's crayfish. So
not everyone finds them easily, so I was quite impressed watching Elise just get 2. We were like, should we get a second one for our supermarket shop? Yes, we will. But
by the end of the day, we're towing a float that was very low in the water. We kind of, I've got the Weddy float boat, like the big one.
Yeah.
And we were almost sinking it because we piled on. Not that death piles are cool, but like we had enough for me and Laura to eat well for
we didn't get much extra off the comp list. Like we got a couple of kahuru, a couple of blue mau mau, 2 granddaddy hapuka, a couple of butterfish, which isn't
not
massive,
excessive.
Going to 2 other homes and groups of friends and sharing them with family and friends and stuff, and we got what was on. We didn't even fill the whole list. Like I think it's unheard of for people to actually get every single fish that's ever on a fish list.
Wow, I was disappointed because the marlin was on the list yesterday, and
the tuna.
For some reason, we didn't.
No black marlin.
Laura, honestly, what was that about? Like, why did you not get a marlin? Like, letting the team down.
I did my best to Sherpa on a black marlin. Rubbed all my crystals the night before, but no black marlin.
Oh, mate, we forgot to write it on the list. Of our
anyway, marlin's on the
list.
It has to be on there because apparently it has been seen before, but
beauty of the valleys.
The float boat was definitely very full, and I remember asking what the time was at one point, and it was like just before 11, and we had heaps of the fish that were our final fish already by just that first couple of hours in the morning, which just goes to show we're like pressure on points and tides and those pelagics and stuff that you get them early on in the day, then that can kind of be. But then the hard work set in.
So then we go, what are you going to do? Oh, just chill out a bit, eh?
We had a little bit of a chill, which is unusual for us on a comp, to be like, should we have actually stop for some food and drink, which we don't normally.
5 hours, Laura?
Sometimes I've been in comps with Elise where I'm like, hey man, look, we've been swimming hard for 4 hours straight. Can we have some water? I have to like ask her special permission, and she expects me to drink out of my bottle while I'm swimming. It's like, I kind of need to slow down for this.
That makes me sound like a psycho, but to be fair,
I
probably am.
Psycho. You're passionate. You're a passionate woman.
Look, just keep up.
But it was good to be able to slow down a little bit and just check my ears and I hadn't been seasick, which is unheard of for me.
Oh my goodness.
It's like the first dive I've had where I haven't thrown up at least twice.
Most times.
On sea legs, which is meant to help with seasickness.
Onto the float boat and she just feels so crook. Like the fact that she has dove this hard for like 2 years straight and has been seasick every single time, but is just frothing at the mouth.
I can count on my hand the dives where I haven't
frothing
spewed.
at the mouth for diving.
Yeah. But I mean, you carry on, you drink some water. But it's important when you're competing.
You carry on, you drink some water.
Yeah, that's important when you're competing anyway, or diving all day, to like drink enough water, have something to like keep you going, whether some kind of hydration
Drinking
stuff or
water
snacks or whatever, or some kina or something. And we had a little play around. Elise found a cute little cave. We took a few photos of our fish, which we don't normally do.
No.
But we were like, you know what, we're here to be back into diving and have a good time. And it was a fun comp, so we were trying to
for fun, and it was fun because we had already done well in the first 2 hours.
We were feeling pretty cocky at this point.
We're like, hey, should we just swim in? We've checked off the list.
Yeah, we've got on there. There's no marlin around here. Let's go home. Go have a snack. But I found a cool cave.
5 hours looking for one kahawai, which I did not see.
We did meet one sharky boy, which I'm embarrassed to say did give me a hair of a fright because we had our heads out of the water and Lisa's telling me about this cute little cave she went through, and then I just stuck my head down and
to be fair, there was a bronzy swimming at you, and it was only like 2 meters away.
It was on the surface, heading for our float boat, probably not us. When we had our hands on the float boat, putting another fish in or looking at what fish we had or something. And honestly, I think the shark got more of a fright than I did because it just turned on itself and swam away.
I don't even know if it had actually seen us, but it was probably just following a scent. And then, when we both looked down, it was like, whoa!
When I eyeballed it with my juicy pink mask, I think it went, whoa!
Laura was like, I don't like this, and then I laughed because not at her but just at the situation because of the shark, how shocked it was that we were there. Maybe I probably need to get a little bit more respect and fear maybe for animals that have a serrated face.
It looked pretty like it was going off into the distance and not coming back.
Gone, yeah.
I mean, you can usually tell with sharks if they're like interested in you, circling you, aggressive, or you've given them a fright.
Yeah, we definitely watch their behaviour.
That one definitely got a fright and pissed off. Like it wasn't hanging around, but it did make me a little bit. I did swim up Elisa's ass for a little bit after that.
2 minutes later, though, as we were swimming, we did hear the boys kind of yelling a little bit.
You were like, who's yelling?
I was like, who's yelling around here?
Just look up and see 2 Spearos clambering out into some rocks. They're probably a couple hundred meters from us, or 100 meters.
Like, maybe we should go check in on them. So we swim over. You guys are okay? And they're like, yeah, there's sharks, man. And I was like, oh yeah.
There's like 2 grown men climbing onto rocks, pulling their float out of the water.
And he goes, yeah, it was big. And I was like, yeah, but was it aggressive? And he goes, yeah, I reckon it was pretty aggressive. But turns out it's because it had just eaten this giant kingfish that was hanging off the back of his float. So
I mean, I think the story, in respect to the boys, I think their kingy was so big it didn't fit in their float boat or on top, so they had to kind of put it somewhere where it was maybe a little bit of a risky position.
Yeah.
And I think they said there was 2 sharks, which fair enough. There's 2 sharks. They've eaten some of their bloody prize-winning kingy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Elise seemed pretty brave. She was like, "Yeah, cool. We'll just carry on." I was like, "Man, I'm not swimming in front of 2 grown-ass men who are probably way more experienced than us, /
Which
me.
They are.
If they're climbing out, I don't know, I just had a thought in my head, as we know, in a story for another day, we've swum with the great white and Marcos, so I just don't like bronzies. There's just something about them. They're little pests and they make me uncomfortable. And I thought if there's 2 grown-ass men in a comp climbing out onto some rocks.
Story for another day. Laura's had to put a spear down the back of a throat of one that was trying to bite her. So
that's true.
So she has got that. And
me and sharks want to be friends, but I just want them to be friends away from me, away from my fish.
The boys did the right thing. The boys 100% did the right thing. And actually, yes, they were tearing into... They'd got into the frenzy, so they were tearing into their kingfish. So, it was good. It was good to all as a 4 swim together
swam for a little bit.
So that, and then we broke apart.
And then we just kind of spent the next. Well, I spent the next 30, 40 minutes looking over my shoulder, as you do, which I kind of was doing anyway. But I'd relaxed for most of the start of the dive. And we were kind of on the hunt by that point. Elise did some great snappering, setting some ground bait and getting a mid-water snapper that was just zooming along, which was a bloody good shot by memory, through the eye hole.
Through the eye hole. I was stoked at that. Snooped that one. I couldn't get on top of it to dive down, so I had to sneak along the bottom because it hadn't quite seen me. And I had the light behind me, so I was like, okay, I could just slowly cruise in, and then just as I was close enough to shoot, I took the shot because I knew that if there was any closer it was just gonna bolt, and I'd miss my chance. So I managed to shoot it, got a great shot, took one for the long shots, Took one for did a long shot for the long shots.
To give context, is one of our social friend cluster clubs called the Long Shots, which is actually currently wearing a jersey of as she drives home from a spearfishing comp, currently wearing that hoodie.
Yeah, it's my favourite hoodie.
And for those people who don't know or probably do, New Zealand snapper of almost all the species of little that I do know in my 2 years of spearing, are probably like I've only ever shot one. They're the hardest fish to shoot in a comp almost. I'd almost say that's probably a very big claim from me.
You have to be really sneaky. That's
yeah, there's so many people around in comps making noise, your buddies there making noise, especially if you're like me, and then in order to like do that and set it up on a burley is pretty difficult. But then even getting the mid-water when there's just so many people in the water around, like they get pretty spooked.
Yeah.
And yeah, just because you're so close to your buddy and you've got lines and gear and everything. So for her to land 2 snapper, which is one of the only species in the comp that you could get 2 of, yeah, it was very impressive.
I was pumped with, so I'm super excited about that. And I'm sure my workmates are going to be excited about it too, because I'll probably bring some fillets in for them. Yeah, overall, really good day.
No luck on the crays. I am not so good at dipping down for the crays, but at least...
I looked under every single hole.
And in the mix of this hunting for the list of fish, I shot 2 of my favourite fish. Because my ears were not playing up. I'm still recovering from bursting an eardrum.
She could have dived down if she wanted to. She was on the clear too. But like, we have got a competition in 2 weeks that we're particularly pretty keen on. Whereas
it's a little bit more serious.
We wanted to just to be a bit chill.
I still want to push it.
She could dive down and like get me if she needed, you know. But like, we didn't have to push it, so we were just like taking care of the ear holes.
Elise was being the depth athlete and I was helping do the other stuff. I got a few fish that weren't on the list from above and from quite shallow depths, but I love a good pigfish and a porter for a curry or a wee burger.
Lots of people turn their nose up at that, but they're obviously not good at cooking, whereas you can cook that and make it taste delicious.
So I really did use
pigfish. I do rate them; they taste amazing. Porter, I don't have to get.
But I do like, it is quite hard if you challenge yourself to try and shoot shallow, like not too deep or from the surface. It's actually a whole other kind of shooting where you've got to shoot from above rather than side on.
And
I may have mucked around for a good half an hour trying to get this pigfish to come out of a little cave.
She didn't do that.
But I got him eventually from above, through the head. Pretty happy about that. Did the same thing to the porter, but
meanwhile, I was playing with an octopus, and if we hadn't got any of the fish on the list, we probably wouldn't have done that. I would be like, yeah, Laura, look, like, great that you want a pigfish, but
we're here to win.
I don't see it in black and white on this list here, so how about you just move along, love?
Definitely not what I do in every comp. Normally you just leave the fish that aren't on the list, but we were there to also have a good dive, connect with the moana, and just, there's a lot of different reasons that we were in the water yesterday, and I am glad we got some chill time, downtime, and some time to get some food as well as do the comp.
I think yesterday's comp was probably one of the funnest comps I've had diving with you, Laura. It was so cool.
Ditto.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And everyone else who was there and competing were like really supportive and fun and had a good time and stuff as well. And what did we get to? So we basically got to the end of the day. I think we got out early. It was a 5 or 6 hour comp, and I think we got out a little earlier than that. We'd sort of done our dash, and there were no crays around. The pelagics pretty much moved off, so there was not much chance of a kahawai.
The 4 hours sleep the night before. So we arrived at 2 a.m. and then we woke up at I think I woke up at 5:45. So the amount of sleep that I'd had.
It's not how we normally roll.
Great.
Actually, we're normally pretty committed to the old no alcohol, thinking about what we're eating beforehand,
but instead,
having a really good sleep.
We had espresso martinis.
Barely any sleep. We just moved house for the week.
Just kind of rolled in like haggard beasts.
Haggard beasts, ready to slay. But as we said, won the women's division because there were no other women, and that's hey, what you take that as it is still winning in my books. And coming third, it was actually really close. It's hard to know. It's kind of exciting, that whole what'd you get? Like float reveal, when lifts their lids off and you see what they get after the same day.
Yeah, I love that.
Same time, same place, but maybe they made a few different decisions, went in a different direction. Different people have different experience and skills, and some of it's just luck, if you ask me. It's but the rest of it's strategy and skill and all that kind of stuff involved. And I think everyone was between, was it
5
6,
and 9?
7, was
5
it
and 9
5
fish.
And 9 fish?
Yeah.
So 5 fish, 7 fish, 8 fish, 9 fish kind of thing.
Blue fish, green fish, moo fish.
And how many fish did we get all up in the end?
We got 7. Which was awesome, and
all of the fish that we were
7 that weighed.
Yeah, that weighed.
Yeah, and then the cool thing of that is that I missed a kahawai, so that in future I can imagine I've seen the other fish, so I know I could get the better points as we get better. So seen a kahawai. I'd also, while Laura was wanting to get the
Marlin.
pigfish.
Right. Pigfish,
There was
so
actually
marlin.
a sizable goatfish that I was trying to chase around, which I didn't get, which that's okay. Goatfish are elusive, man. They're like, it's like, you know, in the Matrix when like time slows down and like the bullet goes past and he's all like, ooh, like warps around it. That is a goatfish. You take a shot and then you're like bang on where it's going to go. And then the goatfish, last second, time will slow down for it, the Matrix happens, and then it will just move like a couple centimetres over.
They
and they just turn around and look at you. And they look at you, they're like...
They hang out with their little friends and a little cluster family too. Yeah. They're normally all together watching each other. They just look at you
and they go, why'd you do that? And you're like, well, I don't know. Because I want you. And then they leave you time to reload your gun. Whereas you could probably just pick up your spear and give it a stab. Like,
goatfish are those fish that you're like, if you miss, they usually move about 10 centimetres from where you tried to shoot it, and they're normally still there after another breather.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were not lucked out. I think maybe one person got a sizable goatfish.
And then I think I also missed a trevally. Because what I did for that moment was got really excited and chased after it instead of what I should have done, which is just let it swim past, because it was one and it was boosting. I should just let it swim past.
I think you've been hard on yourself, Elise. I think you made some great decisions.
Lay it on the sand and throw it up sand and just let it come to me. Whereas, that's the thing, is like, you've got moments where you can analyse and think about it and be like, actually, this is how I'd hunt them next time. So next time, hopefully I'm smart enough to remember this time.
To be fair, as good as it is to be able to be like, oh, you know, some of the stuff that you could have done would have worked out better, you already have that knowledge. But sometimes, to be fair, at least we're doing a majority of the actual depth diving yesterday. I tried to be a good buddy, but I am not in my full extent of my dive health at the moment with what's been happening with my ears. And sometimes you just gotta, right, my body's not feeling right, my ears aren't feeling right, and not dive deep and dive safe in order to like be able to dive for the weeks and months after that. And obviously you want to keep your buddies safe and support them and stuff. But if there was two of us diving to our prime, who knows how many fish we would have slayed.
Man, imagine.
But yeah, in all honesty, Elise, you did amazing. And I know you like to tell yourself you could have got a few more, but it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure diving with you too. I thought we had great teamwork. Before me even needing to ask for something, you were already doing it, and I was like, yeah, the girls. Yeah, I had this great song going through my head the whole day. Thank you, Alex. Here, fishy, 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 here, fishy, 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 woo, 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 woo. Look it up.
Good song. And yeah, pretty much they rounded off the day by going to the weighing area. So you get off the boats with your gutted and gilled fish, which is part of the whole process of how you present them, and then they get counted and weighed, and you sort of find out which of your fish went through and which of other people's fish went through. But they usually wait till so this event they do a little bit of a prize giving at one of the local pubs, so you sort of go home, wash the boat, have a shower, and find out what the actual final points were, which was actually quite hard to tell at the weigh-in. I wasn't sure where we ended up at the weigh-in, and then we went along to prize giving and found out that we came third
overall, and we weighed the heaviest kingfish, which we didn't really deserve, but I'm pumped about it. Hey. No offense, Jack, but thank you, Shark. I would be devastated, but anyway, you won.
Still won, but they would have won by a lot more.
So I don't feel as bad, and it was a well-deserved win. They smashed it. Good job, Jack and Ralphie.
And like we said, everyone were actually really close in points. There was no kind of someone came super last or we beat people by heaps or they beat us. It was all pretty close, and it was a good day's diving, and everyone had some good yarns. I think a couple of shafts were lost. I think another really big kingy was lost on a monofin breaking, and someone else lost something to a kahawai, which I'm not quite sure what the story was there in the end. But a few little interesting tales at the pub afterwards. A few nice wee spot prizes from Bochat, so it was pretty nice. Always like a bit of a spot prize.
Thank you to Bill and thank you to Frenchie for organising another amazing event. You guys put so much time and effort into it, and just really happy about it, so thank you.
Always
for that
make
as
us
well.
feel part of the club even though we're not, and to Minty, our mate from Bluefin's Club, for putting us up and looking after us and driving the boat and being an all-round legend.
GC, thank you very much for that. So overall great day. We're now driving home. I wish we could have gone diving today, but unfortunately life said that we
yeah.
had to do some admin, do adulting things.
Sometimes that whole mission of being excited about our supermarket shop comes with the fact that we know we now also have to fillet quite a few fish.
A lot of filleting to do.
Which is cool, which is all part of it, but when you are stinky and tired, you've had a great time, but you've got to do the admin.
The fish they've harvested.
But yeah, another great comp and an awesome weekend away with one of my OG dive buddies.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. So next up, you're gonna hear from us. We're probably gonna be interviewing someone pretty special. So yeah, just listen in.
And a few more comps probably coming up in the calendar year ahead. Whether we'll be versing each other or together or not, we haven't decided. But yeah, more comp debriefs to come.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Siren later. Sayonara. Cheers for tuning in. Next week, we'll be sitting down for a proper interview with a Spearo guest.
Remember, if you like the episode, tune into Instagram and let us know what you think. Doodles!